We're going to go ahead and begin our winners press conference for the 44th annual Overton's 400 in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. And we have the crew chief of the number 18 M&M's Caramel Toyota, and that is Adam Stevens. Adam, that Camry unloaded seemed pretty quick yesterday. You won a Coors Light Pole Award today, and then you had a driver bring it home to victory lane. How satisfying of a day is that for you, my friend?
Yeah, that's the kind of weekend we all hope for. It's rare to get one. It just goes to show you the kind of stuff that's coming out of Joe Gibbs Racing, and everybody working so hard with their heads down. Just so many dedicated employees there, and we've just had fast cars for so long and just nothing to show for it. So it's nice to finally put a weekend together and have a little bit of luck go your way, which we certainly did today, and bring it home.
Outstanding. We also have our race-winning owner, Coach Joe Gibbs of the number 18 M&M's Caramel Toyota. Coach, the 100th win in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series for Toyota. How special was it for you to be able to bring that home today?
Well, certainly our partnership with them is just for us. There's so many parts to it, but the most important thing is over a period of time, you go through some tough times, you go through good times, but the thing about Toyota, they're right there at your back. And we've worked through some tough issues in the past, but I think we've come out stronger because of that over a period of time. We have a great relationship, and they want to win in every way. Today, I just personally thanked Adam. It was a huge deal for us. And I said the same thing to Kyle. To see them fight over such a long period of time, and I hadn't experienced something where you had that many kind of quirky things happen to real fast cars, and you could get discouraged with that, but this team just kept fighting. And I want to say a big thanks to everybody back at the shop, just like Adam was saying. We got so many people back there that work so hard that don't get to experience the winner's circle. So a big thanks to them and JD and everybody back there that supports us with prayer. And so it's a big day for us, and Lord's blessed us with a great group of people, and it's sure fun.
Okay, let's open the floor up for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start with Bob, and then we'll go to Kyle, then to Dominic.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Adam, were you glad that there was no late caution to make you have to make a decision? And I'm curious, going back to June, what were you thinking when you watched that race and watching Ben have to make that decision that ended up not working out?
Yeah, you know, we talked a lot about strategy going into the June race, and we felt like that was going to be the right call. We probably underestimated the tire fall off, and the 2 car being the wild card of being on pit road when that caution came out. It definitely probably forced more people to pit than normally would have, because they were going to restart behind him with tires anyway. So, you know, I take 100% of the blame for that. That was a situation he was prepped for, and a call that I made, and it didn't work out. And with the benefit of hindsight, I'd obviously do that over again. But I was thankful there wasn't a late race caution today, but we had such a tire advantage on them, and we knew they would come anyway. So we had the lead. We were in a good spot either way. But late race cautions are never fun. They always set up an opportunity for somebody to do something completely different and beat the dominant car, and been a part of those on both sides. So I'd just rather the dominant car win in my mind.
Go to Kyle, then to Dominic.
Kyle Magda, the Times leader. This one's for Adam. Kind of follow up to Bob's question. Did you find some redemption in that today with the pit call and then actually working in your favor? And what were some of the adjustments you made throughout the race? I know Kyle, I think he fell back on the couple runs. I think it was third or fourth. What were some of those adjustments you made?
The first question there, I don't really know. You know, whenever you're forced into a position to make a decision, which happens 3 or 4 times a race, you make the best call you can with all the information available, and you don't get the benefit of deciding if that was a good call or not until you come off pit road and see what everybody else did. So I don't really beat myself up too much over those, unless it's egregiously wrong, which happens sometimes. But you know, today our car was fast and super fast in clean air, and when we lost that track position, when those guys stayed out and had to restart fourth and got into one just probably a little bit too hot and slipped our rear tires, and it really threw the balance off for the rest of that run. So we didn't make a lot of adjustments. We didn't compensate for that at all. It was just a deal where he got himself in a little bit of a bad spot, and maybe that set of tires wasn't lined up great with the other ones. It looked like it was on paper, but once we got those off there, it was back to normal.
We're going to go to Dominic, then up to the press box.
Dominic Ottagona with TheRacingExperts.com. For Coach Gibbs, now that you guys and your organization has won 2 of the last 3 races, is there more pressure or less pressure to keep performing?
Well, I think with multiple cars, obviously right now our focus will be the 20 and the 19. Not that we're not going to go for it each and every week with the 18 and the 11, but I think our focus now, we'd like to get Matt in, and it'd be a long shot, obviously, with Daniel, but he's had 3 straight top 10s right now, and who knows, something could work out for him also. So our focus is just our entire organization, everybody doing the best they can to put the best cars we can out there each week and take our shot.
Okay, we're going to go next to Dustin, and then to Zach.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Adam, you guys scored nearly as many playoff points today as you had all season. Even with the speed that you've shown, how much of a concern was it with how few playoff points you had coming into today and the gap that was building with some of the other cars?
That's a great question. It was a huge concern. I didn't really have any fears that we wouldn't make the chase with our points position. So it was all about the playoff points. And, you only get them one at a time when you win a stage, and we've won the second most stages, but 78's won a bunch. So those add up, but they add up slowly. And then you got guys that have busted off a couple wins, and, you get in these short 3-race segments, those playoff points are going to be colossal. So the sooner we can start racking them up, the better. And there's no better way to do that than to get to victory lane.
Okay, go next to Zach.
Zach Sternilla with the Pocono Record. Adam, for you, you guys pitted a lot later than most other cars, about 10 or so laps later. Did you expect the fresh tires there at the end to pay off as well as they did?
I did, yes. It was a matter of doing something different than those guys because we were far enough back that we weren't going to be able to jump them by short pitting them. They could just come the next lap and still be in front of us when we cycled through. So we had to get ourselves in a spot where we had a tire advantage. And plus they came out in some traffic, and we waited until we weren't going to come out in traffic. We had a little bit better clean air, and it definitely paid off for us.
Okay, we're going to go upstairs to the press box for a question.
Motorsport.com. For Coach, Daniel Suarez scored his 3rd consecutive top 10. Can you talk a little bit about his progress this season, please?
Yes, I mentioned that, and as everybody knows, Daniel got moved up, a year quicker than what we really thought the game plan was going to be. And so you kind of go into this year, he had a lot to learn in a short period of time. And I really think for him, he seems to have just kind of a steadiness about him. He gets off sometimes earlier in the races and may fall back some. But really, towards the end of these races, he's shown that right now he's a solid. He can definitely be a solid top 10 car. It's 3 in a row for him. So we've been impressed. I think everybody has. Eris, DeWalt, everybody's on that car, Subway. We talk about it all the time, and I think they're really pleased with Daniel and the progress he's made.
We are now joined by our race-winning driver, and that's Kyle Busch, who won for the 39th time today in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, and the first time here in 2017, punching his ticket into the 2017 playoffs. Kyle, how sweet of a victory is this for you?
It's pretty cool. Finally just being able to get the monkey off our back and get to victory lane this year. It's been a long time coming. It's well documented. It's been over a year, but it's finally very rewarding to achieve victory, especially here at Pocono. It's M&M's backyard with one of their main plants over there in Hackettstown. So we appreciate being able to go see all those guys and gals on Thursday and having them invite us over and giving the team guys and their spouses some tours and whatnot. So it was fun to do that, and of course to be able to just get to victory lane with this team, with Adam and all the guys. It's not due to lack of effort. It's not due to lack of speed. We've certainly figured out a lot of different ways to lose those races this year, but feels really good to finally capitalize on having a fast car, and Adam making a really good decision there to kind of long stint that last run and put tires on late. It really paid off for us.
Okay, we're going to keep going with questions. We're going to go to Joseph, then to Jerry, then to Matt.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. With you and Denny winning now, how do you think the environment around the team is going to change entering the playoffs?
I don't think it's going to change any. I think everybody at the shop is, pretty level-headed and pretty focused forward on what their job is and what their task is and being able to go to work. And that's what they've been doing all year long. That's the good thing about, our shop is it's one for all. So everybody that's down on the floor that builds and assembles all these cars is there's no wraps on them until Wednesday or Thursday before they have to get loaded up in order to get in the haulers. So, the guys and gals there just do a great job of being able to work on building fast race cars. And Danny and I have been able to capitalize on that, fortunately. And as Joe was mentioning before I got in here, Daniel's running up front and looking pretty good. And Matt's always been fast, and he's a sneaky one. So one of these days, I'm sure we're going to be fighting him for some race wins here not too long.
Jerry?
Jerry Jordan, KickingTires.net, PRN. This is technically the final track for you to get a win at.
Finally, somebody technically. There you go. Asterisk.
Talk about what it feels like to do that, and what are your plans for the one that you technically haven't gotten yet?
It feels really good. I wasn't sure which one was going to be last. It's funny how Charlotte was always my favorite track as a kid growing up and watching the All-Star races there, the night races and the sparks flying, and one of the most eventful races and most memorable finishes was the 92 All-Star race there. So I just remember seeing that when I was a kid and always loving and enjoying Charlotte. And then now that's the place that I have yet to win a Monster Energy Cup race at. So, it's pretty cool to get it down to one. We certainly have had fast race cars, and we've been really close at a lot of these tracks to continually make history, but haven't been able to do so this year. But feels good to get this one, and hopefully it just kind of snowballs from here, and we're able to continue with wins.
Okay, we're going to go to Matt, then to Bob, then to Campbell.
Matt Catrillo with News Radio 1070 WKOK in Sunbury. Kyle, congratulations on the win finally here at Pocono. You've been so close the last couple of times here, and of course you took both poles here this year too. Did you feel like at some point, even though I know it was tough, maybe seeing the frustration, especially coming from the June race, that you would finally get yourself here in victory lane, and now that you have and you're seeing that reality, how does that feel for you?
It feels really good. There was certainly some frustration today as well too. I got past Brad on the outside that one time through turn 3, and then got back down into turn 1, and for some reason it just slid out from underneath me, and I fell back to 6th. So that was really frustrating. I thought that was actually the moment of the day where it was like, okay, there's another Pocono race, and just try to forget about that, try to focus forward on being able to get back past those guys in front of me, and I couldn't do it. That was frustrating again. I knew we had a really fast car, and when all those guys ducked off to pit road, and we picked up a half a second at least, and our car was just really good. It liked clean air, but I couldn't do anything with it in traffic for some reason. So that was probably the most frustrating point for us today. But again, Adam made a really good call, and when all those guys ducked off, we knew that they were all going to still be bunched up together coming off pit road, and they were going to be into lap traffic with fresh tires, so they were going to be minimized of being able to utilize their fresh tires and not running as fast as we could run. When we ran a little bit longer, it kind of put us in a different position on the racetrack when we came off pit road. So great call for our team.
Go to Bob, Campbell, and then the Pat.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. Kyle, you know that we sit around and look at stats. I'm curious if you knew how many laps you've led this year before today.
Second most.
There's 1,040.
Okay.
Could you ever envision having led 1,000 laps and not winning?
No, but I didn't set the record, right?
That's right. Kerry Gant has the record.
Okay, good. That's a record you don't necessarily want, but I was afraid I was going to set that one too. So I'll let old man Harry keep that one. So that just goes to show you that we've had speed, that we've been right there, that we've been able to do what we should be doing, and that's running up front. It's just been, a bit frustrating on the finishes side. So just grateful finally to be able to get the finish that our team deserves, and what these guys have been busting their butts all year for the last year, not just this year, but for the last year of not being able to reward them with a victory lane celebration.
Okay, we're going to go to Campbell, then to Pat, and then up to the press box.
Mr. Busch, Campbell Dobbin, first of all, congrats on your win. Second, what did you and your crew contribute in today's victory?
I think the biggest thing was just unloading fast when we got here. There was abbreviated practices yesterday, so when we unloaded off the hauler, we were really quick. We made some subtle changes to the car. A couple of them actually didn't make it any better, so we just backtracked and focused on what we knew made us fast here the first time around. And Adam and the guys did a good job of that again today, of making some good race calls for the race car today. And then that final pit stop, just running it a bit long, and having that fast car was able to put us in the right place on the racetrack when we got those tires and came out.
Pat?
So much of the talk this year has been on the strength of the 42 and the 78, but as you just pointed out, you've led the second most laps. Do you think this puts you in the title conversation with them and maybe as a favorite?
I don't know. We normally tend to fly under the radar most times, but it's not one that I need to go out and beat our chest to say that we should be in the conversations. That's for other people to decide. But I think our stats and our runs and our speed shows for itself. Those guys have just been able to capitalize on race victories, and that's what we haven't been able to capitalize on. And it kind of goes every once in a while that we're not all that flashy, but and when our backs are against the wall, I would say we haven't necessarily had that situation, thankfully, so we haven't had to go out there and win. I mean, in those playoff instances, like some of these other teams have, the 4's been able to do it, the 78's been able to do it, a couple other guys, but we just methodically go about our races, and that's our mentality, and when it works for us, we go to victory lane, and that's how we get to Homestead.
Okay, we'll go upstairs to the press box.
ChristianCatchments.com. Kyle, I was just curious what you thought about qualifying and racing on the same day, and would you like to see it done more often?
Yeah, I thought today was great. I didn't have any qualms about it whatsoever. I thought that I'm up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning anyway, so I might as well be doing something. So qualifying at 11:30 wasn't bad. Getting a bite to eat for lunch, a driver's meeting, changing our clothes, going back to traditional schedule was not that big a deal. I think if you're a driver that has a lot of hospitalities and a lot of different sponsors and things like that, that's going to be a bit difficult to kind of balance that act on some weekends. But for me today, it was pretty easy. So I wouldn't mind more days like that. Obviously, with my Xfinity and truck efforts getting cut back more and more every year, that's going to mean more Fridays at home with my son, and that's going to be more fun for us drivers. And you'd have to ask the crew guys what they feel about shortened schedules, because I know last week's was pretty tough with really long days, really long hours in the garage area, and then being back early in the mornings again. So it's totally different lives. So I'm all about the crew guys and not necessarily about the drivers.
Okay, we're going to come downstairs here to Jake, then to Jeff, then to Scott, then to Zach.
Kyle, you mentioned some of the bad luck that you'd had this season, the restart at Talladega and the late caution here last month. You seem to say that a couple of those times that it seemed like just finding new ways, new kinds of bad luck. Now that the drought is over, can you put into words just can you express how frustrating it was to come up with those pieces of bad luck all those times?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely frustrating and aggravating and disheartening. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is we work so hard in this business and we've had fast race cars. It's not like we've been running 10th to 15th every week and we don't deserve to win anyways. I think that the fact of it was that we were running up front and we should be able to capitalize on those good fast race cars and get to victory lane. That's what pays our bills. That's what makes our sponsors happy. But thankfully, the sponsors have been showing their support every single week, every single time we've gotten to the racetrack. I've been getting phone calls and texts from all of our peers that we have that say, "Man, this weekend's it," or "We still behind you. We believe in you. You guys are fast. Keep digging." Just comments that keep you motivated as much as you can be motivated. Besides thinking about what next this weekend, is going to happen bad, but. to finally get that monkey off our back, it's just a sense of relief. I feel like now I wouldn't say the pressure's off, but at least now we feel like we can probably breathe a little bit easier, and we can continue to focus forward, which is getting ourselves ready for the playoff, and being able to have a continuation of these runs like we had today, and being able to win some more races.
Jeff?
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. You mentioned that the word relief. I thought you seemed pretty subdued on the radio after you won. Is relief the reason, or why were you not as, I guess, vocal as you typically are sometimes?
I guess it was just, relief. It was like, finally, it was just like, I really didn't know if it was over yet, I guess. I was just waiting for that moment. Something was going to happen. And, today, today probably more than any other day. I had a few last week, too, that was like, man, today's your day. Today's your day. But today there was a lot of people, and, actually a few from M&M's actually were texting me as well, too, this morning. So that feels good that they had a sense of feeling as well, and getting us to victory lane. So hopefully they can have more of those feelings every week and text me that. So it feels pretty good.
We'll go Scott, then Zach, and then on the far left to John.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune. Kyle, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the pass for the lead with Kevin there. He said that he got kind of a little loose or whatever, and just kind of what's your take, kind of how that whole kind of transpired.
Yeah, that's what it looked like from my vantage point. He kind of got off in the corner a little shallow, and I knew he was going to have to give it wheel, and when he gave it wheel, the back end just kind of stepped out from underneath him, and he got loose, and when he slid up the track, I wasn't sure how far he was going to slide, so I kind of throttled up in order to get a run on him, because as he slides up, I want to get my nose underneath him and get there. But he jammed on the brakes a couple times in order to get the slide back under control, and when he did that, he backed up right into my nose, and I couldn't react fast enough, so I bumped him. But no harm, no foul. I didn't mean to do that. I actually re-lifted and tried to let him gather it back up before I got back in the gas and was able to drive under him. So thankfully, nothing crazy happened out of that moment. But he recognized it, so that's good. That just nothing intentional. I wouldn't even call it a bump and run for the win. It was he had it enough under control that the bump really didn't do anything, so that was good.
Do we have any additional questions for Adam and Coach? Gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations on the win.
Kyle did a great job talking about Mars. Mars is right here.
Anytime
and
we
they had
put you in the
everybody
spotlight,
here.
things go bad.
And the thing about our sport that's different is our sponsors. Huge deal for us. Mars and Caramel and Interstate Batteries and Norm. Just want to say a big thanks to them. And it's special, and it's special winning right in their backyard. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, boss. All right. I'll handle it from here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Zach Sternaler from the Pocono Record. Kyle, Coach just talked about it with M&M's. I know your spotter, Tony, is also from the area as well. What's it mean to get a win for him right here in his backyard?
It means a lot. I thought about that after the race was over, and remembered that this is one of his home tracks as well too. So that was pretty cool. Tony does a lot for me, and I appreciate him and what he does for me, does for KBM, and does with me. We go super late model racing throughout the year. I ask him, and he doesn't take a dime from that, and he's a pretty cool dude. So it means a lot to be able to get a win here for him and his home track. He's been trying for a long time. I know he's got a couple truck wins. I don't think he's got an Xfinity win, but he was able. He swept the weekend this weekend, so he won with Christopher Bell yesterday. So excited for him, and just his family being from close by. Actually, his brother won last night as well too in the modified ranks, won 7 races in a row. So those guys are on it. So pretty impressive for Matt Hirschman to win those races too.
John? John Harvin with ESPN Radio Albuquerque. Kyle, your teammate Denny said that he would like to see the PJ1 substance on the track, saying it was a necessity. So I just wanted to know if you think that would be something good for the track, maybe in the future.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that I think this place could utilize something different. The bottom, I tried moving around. I mean, we were one of the fastest cars here, and I tried moving around in the outside lane a couple times, and there was nothing there. I mean, car would wash out from underneath me, and I would lose 2, sometimes 3 seconds 2 to 3/10 of a second a lap by moving out of the groove. I was just glued to the yellow line all the way around the racetrack, and anybody that was in front of you that was on the yellow line as well too, keeping the air from your car was just doing that. They were keeping you from being able to advance. So drivers need options, and when racetracks can be wider than one groove, then that gives drivers options and gives us the ability to move around a little bit and hopefully make passes. I think that the Loudon race was a blast. I thought that restarts were pretty hectic and chaotic a little bit there, but it gave you an opportunity to run wide if you wanted to. It gave you an opportunity to run low if you wanted to. You can run high, then run low in the same corner, so you were all over the place. I think that this place could certainly utilize some of that action as well too.
Go next to Christian, and then we'll end with Kyle.
Christian Collier on pitroad.com. Kyle, as we enter some of your favorite tracks of the year, does this win today help you enter these races with a little bit more relaxed instead of a stressed out look?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't argue against that point. I think that just being able to go after today, after taking the checkered flag, it was just finally a little bit of a relief, and finally now we can. At a moment in the race today, I think I was running 6. I was counting how many guys in front of me had wins and how many didn't, and who I was hoping didn't win today. And we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now we can just focus on how we're going to win the race and what we're going to do. But you try to do that every weekend, but sometimes that thought does cross your mind.
Kyle
Magda from the Times Leader.
Make it a good one.
I'll do my best. Can you talk about the importance of your relationship with M&M's these last 9 years and finally getting a win at their home track, which you mentioned is nearby in Hackettstown?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love the family and everybody there that does such amazing things for me and for my family. I think that's what makes the relationships live in this world, is having that close-knit relationship that you do with your sponsors. And fortunately for me, I'm very fortunate in this aspect, is it's a family-owned operation, and so the executives don't change. When you look at all the rest of some of these companies that are in our sport, Target, for instance, the leadership changes, and then their thoughts change on what they're going to be doing, and they leave. So with the relationships and everything that Joe has, that I have with the family, as well as the upper management that we have at M&M's, certainly some of those people have changed over the years. But I think the key board members, obviously, with the family, they keep thinking that NASCAR is a good investment for them. They see the return on the investment for them and for their company, and they can make it work. Now you've got to work hard to make it work, and that's what the business people do. And so it's been a really good thing that we've been able to have that relationship over the course of these last 9 years, and they've just been really pumped and excited about us and what we've been able to do and accomplish. A couple of years ago in 2015, we brought them their first championship, and thankfully it was it was just in time for some other unforeseen circumstances that happened. But I won't get into all that. But obviously, just excited about being able to try to do it again here this year. Sorry?
Was that a good one?
What's that?
Was that a good question?
Yeah, it was good. It was fine.
Well, Kyle, that was certainly a good win for you, and congratulations again. Good luck in Watkins Glen.
Thanks.